Spare parts, they're going bye-bye. I'm really happy with this. I bloody hate timers, and I'm not really a huge fan of spare parts. I'm constantly lacking them personally.
Get down, get happy, because it's finally happening. The fireworks are up, humans are kissing in the street, babies are crying with joy, sparks are gone forever, along with timers, and I can't tell you how much happier I am about the game and the future of the game, knowing that this has happened, because man, I've never had a positive conversation or interaction about spare parts in my entire Blitz career. And I can't think of anyone else out there who has talked to as many humans across as many continents about the game as me. And it has been a universal truth that parts are absolutely pants and they are not popular. And yet, it's taken this long, and I never thought it'd happen. I honest to God never thought it'd happen, but it's happened. We've lost them.
Ladies and gentlemen, g'day, welcome back to the channel. My name is Economics Mate, and welcome to another video in World of Tanks Blitz. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about spare parts. Oh yeah, we're going to go down that bloody rabbit hole, can we? Can we diverge a little bit to talk about spare parts for a second? For those of you who are newer to the game and have no idea what I'm on about, let me brief you on what spare parts was. Picture yourself back 7 years ago, playing World of Tanks Blitz, and Wargaming releases a new update, in update 3.6 to 3.8, introducing spare parts and timers for your equipment slots. What this meant was, essentially, it was a currency in-game. So spare parts was a currency in-game that was used to unlock equipment slots. There were 9, and earned by either chests, missions, or winning battles and earning XP. You couldn't use gold or any other means to purchase them. You had to have played matches in order to grind them. The higher the higher tier equipment, for instance, the higher the tank, let me just rephrase that for a second. The higher tier the equipment and the higher tier the tank, the higher the amount of spare parts required to unlock a slot. I'll give you an example. A tier 1 equipment will cost about 50% less than a tier 3 equipment, and a tier 1 tank's equipment will cost almost nothing and take almost no time, whereas a tier 10 tank's equipment will take a lot longer and need more spare parts than ever before. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially what happened was, Wargaming implemented a system where, in order to unlock specific specific slots for your equipment. And by the way, this is when the new equipment changes came in, and it went from having only 3 equipment slots to having 9 different equipment slots. But the only way you could have gotten those 9 is if you grinded spare parts and used those spare parts as your currency of exchange in order to buy that slot or that specific equipment. And you had to wait for it to unlock, because there was a timer involved, which really pissed people off. And I'll give you an example of what some people were talking when spare parts was around and how they described it. There's one Redditor on the World of Tanks Blitz subreddit that states, I'm not going to name his name, but I'm going to state what he says. Get your popcorn for this. Spare parts are a mechanism to punish new players, because what game needs new players? I'm going to talk in MC Legend's voice. It's a horrific process of seriously adding upgrades to your tank at a pace that makes granite erosion look speedy. The point is to drain currency by allowing you to play to speed up the process. During this death march, players can play matches against people who got 2 million spare parts when they implemented the system first, and have tanks that are fully upgraded and have superior performance to yours. These people are also generally much better than you. Enjoy the grind. Oh god, some people, seriously. But essentially that's what happened. That's essentially what happened. That is essentially what spare parts was. And then, this is my favorite, by the way. And by the way, when spare parts was removed, many people were compensated with a lot of credits. So I just wanted to make that very, very clear. So Wargaming did realised their mistake and fixed that up pretty damn quickly. Right? And then update 5.0 came out, and Wargaming decided to remove spare parts completely from the game. And this was met by many different people commenting on many different things, especially regarding spare parts, and how much they appreciated Wargaming getting rid of spare parts. I'm going to read you something that was on the World of Tanks Blitz subreddit from 6 years ago, from the_skull_of_destiny. And this is what he writes. Dear Wargaming, thank you for listening to us, whilst acknowledging this may alternatively be the result of poor economic performance from spare parts and their stupid timers. We, your loyal player base, fans, customers and community are delighted with this decision. The new equipment system, 9 rather than 3, greatly enhance the depth and nuance of your already superb game, World of Tanks Blitz. However, the slow rate of acquisition of spare parts and the extreme inconvenience of spare parts timers, the emphasis on the extreme by the way, actually pure rudeness, completely undermined what otherwise would have been a great update 3.8. So I want to emphasize it was update 3.8, and update 3.6 technically was when they started to sort of say we want to implement these spare parts, but regardless. Expected results of this decision are a return, possibly in droves, of old players alienated by the failure of 3.8 and the spare parts system, increased retention of new players, and increased levels of engagement from existing players. We, your community, cannot reiterate enough how much of a good decision this move in 5.0 will be, and again take this opportunity to thank you for listening and thinking both dynamically and long term. Oh god, this guy, seriously. Once again, we, your fans, feel valued and wish to thank you and assure you of our continued support for this groundbreaking mobile gaming system. Yours sincerely, What B players from around the world love all of us wargaming. And then we had Darth Anonymous, who, by the way, in case you didn't know who he was, that's Darth Antonius, aka Tony, who used to work with the community in Blitz. Unfortunately, he no longer does that. He does some other things with wargaming. But essentially, he replied to that saying, huge thanks for the feedback, really appreciate it. And then he gave us a rundown of what actually was removed from spare parts, or like the spare parts system and whatever was removed in update 5.0. And this is what he said. So let's cut the long story short. In update 5.0, timers for unlocking equipment were removed completely. Emphasis on the removed. From now on, equipment will be unlocked using credits and only credits instead of spare parts. All spare part boosters will be converted into spare parts. You have an opportunity to spend your spare parts on some bundles in the in-game store, which was a fantastic move by Wargaming, might I add. In the version coming after update 5.0, all unused spare parts will be converted into credits. So you actually have the opportunity to use those spare parts to buy bundles in the store, which was an awesome move by Wargaming. Very, very smart move. All previously unlocked equipment slots will remain. Each vehicle with at least 6 unlocked equipment slots will get the strong-willed rare camouflage. Now, back in the day, the strong-willed rare camouflage is obviously quite rare nowadays, and that's something I'm going to be talking about in an upcoming video. Stay tuned for that. But essentially, Wargaming did fix up their fuck up, essentially. There's no other word to put it. It was a horrific R&D addition into the game. Like, honest to God, I don't know what they were thinking. It is undoubtedly one of the worst failures in World of Tanks Blitz history. I don't know why they added it. I have no idea. Maybe they were testing something. I don't know why, but the backlash from the community was horrific. So, yeah, Wargaming, thank you so much for doing what you did all those years ago, getting rid of the spare parts and timers. I mean, you really are the real MVP here. Like, seriously, honest to God. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little history lesson on sort of things, weird things that happen in World of Tanks Blitz. This may or may not give you a hint on what kind of video I'm going to be making, or I've already recorded, but I've got to edit, which is going to take a long time, so stay tuned for that. You may or may not see other videos where we delve into this, but anyway. Guys, I love you all. take care, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family, and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.
Hey, it's me, Goku!